7 hells! After almost a year and a half, the final season of Game of Thrones is almost here. We're finally gonna get to see who, if anyone, will win the Iron Throne. Now, this extended break since the last episode has given the show's most dedicated fans time to theorize. We scoured the internet to see what they've been saying and found 8 of the best fan theories for Game of Thrones Season 8. Number 1. BRAN and the Night King. Coming out of the gate with a big one, BRAN is the Night King. Yep, you heard me. Fans reckon that BRAN takes himself back in time, and in the process of trying to stop the children of the forest from creating the first White Walker, he accidentally perma-wargs himself into its body and becomes the Night King. This sounds really cool, but it could be too good to be true. BRAN's actor Isaac Hempstead Wright has all but disavowed this theory, and although we typically can't trust the actors to give us correct information or spoilers, we do believe him this time. He's right when he calls it downright cheesy. The other BRAN theories are a bit more intriguing though. In the same way that BRAN damaged Hodor's mental state by warging back in time, what if BRAN affected other key events in the timeline? Could he have warged into the mind of his ancestor Bran the Builder from the Age of Legends and told him to build the wall? Could he have warged into the Mad King's head to warn him about the White Walkers, but instead accidentally drove him mad and instilled the directive to burn them all? Time travel has a way of making anything and everything possible. It'll be interesting to see how far the writers can take this concept while maintaining the suspension of disbelief. Number 2. The destiny of direwolves. It's been theorized for years that the Stark children's direwolves each reflect something about the personality or fate of each child. Take Jon's direwolf Ghost, for example. Jon's death in Season 5 and subsequent resurrection in Season 6 gives this name a fresh new meaning. Nymeria is the name of a warrior queen that Arya admires. Between her training with the Faceless Men and her overall resourcefulness, Arya has evolved into quite the warrior herself.
Who taught you how to do that?
No one.
Sansa's wolf's name was Lady, and Lady died way back in Season 1, right around the time things started to go sour for Sansa, who had to let go of the delicate part of herself in order to survive. Which brings us to BRAN's direwolf, Summer, a telling name in a show that is preoccupied with encroaching winter. Perhaps this means that BRAN will be key to defeating the Night King, or that his actions will bring about a new season of peace. After everything that's happened, we can only hope. Number 3. Does Daenerys have to die? George R.R. Martin's books have a detailed prophecy about a legendary figure named Azor Ahai, who will return to lead our heroes out of the darkness. There are lots of theories as to who this Azor Ahai could be, and if you're one of the fans who believes it's Jon Snow, then you might be upset about the implications. According to legend, in order to forge the sword Lightbringer, Azor Ahai needed to plunge it into the chest of his true love, Nissa. So, if this prophecy is true and Jon is Azor Ahai, and his true love is Daenerys Targaryen, does that mean that she has to die in order to bring peace to the realm? It seems that, at best, any happy ending to this series will be bittersweet. One or more main characters may have to be sacrificed for the greater good. Number 4. Just who is Arya running from? Now, we covered this theory pretty extensively in a recent episode of Fan Theories, but it's so good that we had to talk about it again. In the first official trailer for Season 8, you can see Arya running through the Winterfell crypt, seemingly terrified for her life. And although she could be running from Whites or White Walkers, fans actually believe that she's running from something way more terrifying. We saw at Hardhome that the Night King is able to resurrect the dead. So what if he tries that at Winterfell, in particular in the crypt where all the Starks are buried? Book fans have been upset for a long time that the show never featured Lady Stoneheart, an undead Catelyn Stark who is hell-bent on revenge, so this could be a way to finally introduce her. This also means that we could be seeing a headless Ned chasing Arya through the corridors, or maybe even undead direwolves. That's certainly creepy and unsettling enough to send even the most hardened warrior fleeing for her life. Number 5. Putting on a good face. The Faceless Men have so much narrative potential. Their ability to impersonate anyone, living or dead, has led fans to believe that one of them is hiding amongst the main characters right now. A small percentage of fans theorize that Arya is already dead, that she bled out back in Braavos, and that the waif is currently wearing her face pretending to be her. Now, that's pretty unlikely, given that the waif would have no cause to murder all the Freys, which Arya did at the end of Season 6/beginning of Season 7. But there might still be some faceless shenanigans in Season 8. For instance, there is a prophecy that Cersei Lannister will die at the hands of her younger brother. Since that prophecy also predicted that all of Cersei's children would die before her, we can assume that this final part may also come true. So, which brother will do the deed? Not many fans believe that Tyrion will do the deed. It's pretty obvious, and he also seems really busy with his new role as Hand of the Queen to Daenerys. Most fans, though, think that Jaime will be the one to kill his sister. After all, he developed a conscience last season, and he might feel compelled to kill Cersei for the good of the realm. Remember, he has already killed one monarch for the same reason. But there's also this third theory that Arya will do it while wearing Jaime's face. This will technically fulfill the prophecy, while also crossing Cersei off Arya's lengthy kill list. Number 6. Littlefinger is dead, we think. Peter Baelish met a bad end in the final episode of Season 7. He tried to turn the Stark girls against one another, and for one of the first times in the show's history, Littlefinger got himself into a dilemma that he couldn't talk his way out of. Arya Stark slit his throat, and finally, we were rid of him. Or were we? There is some speculation that Littlefinger faked his death. In episode 5 of Season 7, we see Littlefinger give a cloaked woman a coin, and she whispers to him, "Your time is up." Fans are theorizing that this woman is a faceless man, or a Braavos citizen who knows the faceless men, and the coin is a form of Braavos communication, similar to the coin that Jaqen H'ghar gave to Arya in Season 2. So perhaps the man who died at Arya's hand was not actually Littlefinger, but a faceless man wearing Littlefinger's face. If so, then Littlefinger escaped from Winterfell long before his quote-unquote death. It would certainly be an interesting twist. Littlefinger has always been smart enough to see danger coming, and it's difficult to believe he would have suspected nothing prior to his untimely execution. Number 7. Gendry the Blacksmith. After spending a long time on the sidelines, Gendry, the surviving bastard son of Robert Baratheon, took a more prominent role in Season 7, after Ser Davos found him in King's Landing. He played a key role in Jon's mission beyond the wall to capture a White, to prove to Cersei that the White Walkers and the Army of the Dead are real. As a trained, skilled blacksmith, he might know how to work with Valyrian steel. In the books, his master Tobho Mott is the one who forged 2 Valyrian steel swords from Ned Stark's original ice. However, this does get complicated when it comes to the show, because Mott is not the one who forged the new swords. But perhaps in the series, Gendry will have learned this skill anyway. Since the special steel is one of the only materials that can destroy White Walkers, it's especially important, and it means his reappearance makes way more sense. Number 8. Samwell the Storyteller. In The Lord of the Rings, Bilbo Baggins wrote down his adventures with Smaug the Dragon in a book called There and Back Again. Stay with me, I do have a point that I'm making here. This has led some fans to theorize that Samwell Tarly is the Bilbo Baggins of Game of Thrones. His dumbstruck reaction to the Citadel's library underlines the writing connection. The chandelier in the library and the Maester's magnifying glasses can also be seen in the Game of Thrones opening credits, as the camera swoops toward and around different landmarks. Now perhaps this clockwork world map, which we've been looking at now for 7 seasons, is in the Citadel library, and a Maester, perhaps Samwell himself, is retelling the events of a Game of Thrones from the perspective of someone who survived them. Which theory do you think will come true in Season 8? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe to GameSpot Universe so you don't miss this season of GameSpot of Thrones, where we're going to be breaking down all the episodes from Season 8. Thanks for watching.